Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm speaking from the traditional territories of the Kakite First Nation. It's truly an honor and very humbling to be speaking to everyone on this important day of remembrance. As of today, I've been a hate crime investigator for exactly 4 years less 1 day. It just so happened that my first day on this job was January 30th, 2017. And so I walked into work that day deeply affected by the tragedy that had unfolded in Quebec City the night before, and also with my mind racing about what I had to do and what the police collectively had to do to prevent something like this from happening again. And truly that event, and sadly other events, attacks on places of faith, and the attack in Christchurch in 2019 have largely come to define much of the work that I've done with BC hate crimes. We often talk about how safe Canada is compared to other places, but that's small comfort to survivors of tragedies, families and communities who've lost loved ones to senseless violence. We also talk about the robustness of our democracy, and that's something I happen to believe in. It's something that is worth investing in, I believe worth fighting for every day. Under our charter, we have certain fundamental freedoms, which includes freedom of religion, freedom of belief, and freedom of peaceful assembly. And the attack at Centre Culturel Islamique was an attack on all those things. It was terrorism. It was an attack on our democracy. In reparation of those things, the first thing we need to do is remember the victims. So I can speak for the Royal Canadian Mounted Police in saying that recognition of January 29th as an official day of remembrance is also an important step in that reparation. Since 2017, in my capacity with BC Hate Crimes, I've had the opportunity to meet with many people from Muslim communities in British Columbia. And what stood out to me is, notwithstanding these tragedies, the news of which is everywhere, at masjids in Quebec City and also in Christchurch, in London, and now more recently in Toronto, how hard Muslim communities, how much they've had to justify their faith and demonstrate their peaceful intentions as members of Canadian society. And this is because Islamophobia has been and continues to be a real problem. And the fact that there are some groups that are predicated on hatred and fear of neighbors who identify as Muslims, and that then sometimes show up to picket outside of mosques and try and intimidate people, is something that has disproportionately targeted Muslims in Canada for the last 20 years. And concomitant with that has been the increase in hate crimes that have targeted Muslims in our country. In addressing these troubling issues, the police certainly have roles to play. One is in enforcement and prevention. And that's why I'm very pleased that our federal government has equipped the RCMP with more tools that allow us to target violent extremists, with one of the standouts being the addition of 2 right-wing extremist groups to the list of Canada's terrorist entities in 2019. And we expect there'll be more to come. The second thing, and it's probably at the end of the day the most important role, is in community outreach and engagement. And so I'm very grateful for the efforts of organizations like Islam Unravelled in connecting the police with communities, in working toward combating Islamophobia, enhancing public safety, and restoring senses of security for all Canadians. And just anecdotally, I recall in 2019 meeting someone at a mosque in the Vancouver area, and this person telling me that he was afraid to bring his children to the mosque because of incidents that had happened. He was afraid for their safety. It's valid, the way he felt. It's heartbreaking too. And the remedies around a problem like that are long-term goals that we all work towards. And in the day-to-day, to echo what Shiraz and to echo what Jackie have said, if you're attacked physically or verbally, or if you see something that causes you fear or concern, however small it may seem, please reach out to your local police. That's why we're here, and we're here for you. So thank you, Shukran.